Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another live rant. Once again, Spyro 2, but this is post-game, because I've already beat Ripto, so there you go. But in today's rant, I wanted to talk about sort of quality snobbery, right? Now, as a collector, you might be surprised to find that a lot of the time, I don't really give a shit about, like, video quality, aspect ratio, things like that, right? And a lot of people get far too fucking, like, invested in that. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, there is a point to be made with some of it. Like, for instance, when The Simpsons on Disney Plus, when they changed the aspect ratio to widescreen, it actually fucked up a few of the jokes and things like that. But one of the things I do always find myself, like, defending, for instance, is the Dragon Ball Z orange bricks. Like, a lot of people don't like those orange bricks, and, you know, it's fair. There's a lot of things to validly criticize about the orange bricks, right? That's the season box sets on DVD of Dragon Ball Z, for those of you who don't know. And with those box sets, there's, like, some issues with, like, aspect ratio, because they... What the fuck? Because they stretched it. But also, there's some issues with, you know, colors and contrast being kind of off. And so, you know, those are valid things to complain about, right? That's fair. That's fair to complain about. I get that. But, to me, what's important is the episodes don't look like they're made on a potato, because I don't care that they're not the highest quality. As I said, I find quality snobbery really fucking obnoxious. Like, people are like, oh, but I gotta have it in, like, 4K or, like, 1080 or whatever, and it's like, I mean, I'm fine as long as I can, like, see what's going on clearly. Like, if it's, like, fucking 144p and everything's all pixelated and bad, then obviously I don't want to see, like, I don't want that. I'd rather have better, right? Like, there's a line and a limit and whatnot. But at the same time, like, obsessing over, like, the quality or, like, for instance, like, for instance, there's a lot of, like, shows that used to use, like, licensed music, right? And those, they replace the soundtrack. And I don't really care about that either most of the time. Like, granted, I will say, if I'm able to get said licensed music, like, let's say Daria, for instance. Like, Daria is a show that I don't know how well it holds up, but I liked it when I was a teenager, right? But with Daria, they had a bunch of licensed music because it was MTV, and on the DVDs, it didn't have that. Now, granted, I went into it not really knowing that, because the DVDs were how... Well, actually, I watched it on Hulu, which is the same way the DVDs were. And that's how I first saw it. So, yeah, there's things... I mean, like, yeah, would it be better to have the licensed music? Sure. But at the end of the day, as long as I can watch the show and have it relatively intact, then I'm okay. What I actually care more about, and that's bullshit that I fucking missed that ring again, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But, what I care more about is what cut it is, right? Like, if it's uncut, or director's cut, extended edition, things like that. And there are some movies I care about that more than others, for sure. And, like, if I have a theatrical cut of something, a lot of the time it can just be good enough, right? Like, for me, like, with my DVD that I own of Saw the Final Chapter, which is Saw 7, and that was bullshit, which is Saw 7, right? Saw 3D, the Final Chapter. I have the DVD, which, the DVD, at the time that I bought it, the DVD version, from what I know, was only the theatrical cut. The Blu-ray had the extended cut. Or not, yeah, the unrated cut, right? And it's like, yes, I would rather have the unrated cut. But it's not exactly like a night and day difference, right? Like, at the end of the day, these rings are pissing me off. But at the end of the day, what's it called? The theatrical cut gets the job done. It's not like a night and day difference with Saw 3D, the Final Chapter. Not to mention, obviously the Blu-ray had a 3D version, DVD did not. But 3D Blu-rays were kind of a fad, you know, the ones that had, like, those 3D TVs. But, like, another thing for me that I don't really care about, again, aspect ratio, a lot of the time, when I would watch stuff on my trusty DVD player, which I like, well, it's not like it's gone. I say I miss because I haven't used it in, like, 2 years or 3 years. Because we haven't set it up in this house. But back before we moved here, I used it all the time. And that DVD player, a lot of the time, would stretch the stuff. And I didn't really care. Again, there were instances where I would go out of my way to fix it, so it didn't do that. For instance, again, with certain Simpsons episodes. But at the same time, I already know the joke, so it's really not the end of the world in those instances either. I just know about it. Like, to me, if something gets... Like, another example is, I'm not gonna, like, update to, like, Blu-ray unless I have, like, a reason to. Like, granted, it depends. Like, this is not an end-all be-all, because I've done this before, right? Oh, capture card. But I've done this before, where I've updated to a Blu-ray from a DVD I have. If it's, like, affordable, or if it's, like, something I really want to support, or I think is really cool, right? Like, obviously, as a collector, I'm not against having duplicates and stuff, right? But the problem, like, I don't go out of my way to necessarily do that unless I have a valid reason. And for me, half the time, there isn't a valid reason. So, like, for instance, South Park I have been, because it's the uncensored version. And again, something being uncensored to me is more important than a lot of the other issues with, like, releases. Yeah, I'm not very picky with that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly, neither am I, bother me none. But, so, like, something being uncensored to me is far more important. And, like, again, with, like, Dragon Ball Z, the Orange Bricks, for instance, like I said, I care much more about having the Bruce Falconer soundtrack rather than having the fucking awful Japanese soundtrack that just has, like, trumpets going brr, 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 da, 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 brr, 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 da, 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 because that's all the fucking Japanese soundtrack sounds like to me. So, although the Dragon boxes are cool with their quality and stuff, at the end of the day, I'd rather fucking watch it with the right soundtrack to me. So, yeah, I don't really care that much about, like, quality and stuff. And, like, things like special features. Like, I love special features. I do prefer things to have special features. But I'm not gonna chimp out if something's bare bones as long as it's got the full content. Again, would I prefer special features? Abso-fucking-lutely. I love stuff that has a bunch of bonus features. It's fun. In fact, when I was younger, I used to always look at, like, deleted scenes on, like, every fucking movie I'd watch. It was something that I loved doing. I don't do it so much anymore. I do occasionally. But I do also, like, I do when I watch Simpsons DVDs, and this is a reason, actually, that my PlayStation is actually a better Blu-ray player than Xbox in some regards. Because Xbox One won't let me watch the Simpsons episodes with deleted scenes turned on, but PlayStation will. And so, to me, that's a big plus, because I love watching Simpsons episodes with the deleted scenes intact. They're fucking great. But at the end of the day, like I said, as long as I get the thing, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to constantly upgrade. I don't need to constantly have things be, like, super fancy quality. Where the fuck did Hunter go, damn it? But, I don't need all that. Right. So, at the end of the day, if it gets the job done, I'm good. And I guess that's all I really need to say on that. I will say another thing I find really interesting is a lot of people say that, like, DVD quality is absolute shit. And I'm like, again, it gets the job done. I don't need it to be, like, super polished. It's not like it's all pixelated and bad. So I just think it's really odd that people act like DVD is bad. People act like VHS is, like, super bad, too. And, like, VHS, while it is lower quality, obviously, I think could still look perfectly serviceable. Again, to me, as long as it's not all pixelated bad and looks like it's on a fucking potato, or like it has fucking, like, shit smeared on the lens or some stuff, right? Like, as long as it's not like that, I'm good. Like, granted, even then, I could tolerate a lot. Like, the still standing bootlegs that I've watched, the episodes are in, like, 240p, so they look like absolute shit. But I still get it done because, you know, like I said, there's no official release of Still Standing, which, by the way, is a super underrated sitcom, and if you haven't seen it, you're definitely missing out. But, anyway, I think that's all I really have to say about this sort of thing. I think Blu-ray is my preferred method to collect things on. I don't really care about 4K. Again, I'll get stuff on 4K if I feel this need to do so. Like, if, like, I see something cheap on 4K and I don't already own it, then I might do that. But most of the time, I'm just going to go with the Blu-ray, or even the DVD, because DVDs I can use in my disc drive, and more easily do, like, red-eye theaters and things like that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this live rant. This has been Fugitive Red-Eye. Have a good one. Toodles!